that day. I think I'll come in short.
Okay, we can start our meeting. Mayor Nelson has called and is going to be delayed a little, but he'll be here later, just as soon as he can make it. So we'll open our meeting for September 2nd. And letters of communications to the board. Wade, is there any?
Yes, there are. There are two this evening. I have one certainly. I have one from Seaway Slow Pitch, thanking the authority. On behalf of Seaway Slow Pitch League, we would like to take this time to say thank you and all who helped make our 2008 season a success. Final game turned out to be the most exciting finish ever seen in the history of Seaway Slow Pitch softball. We had over 165 players involved in approximately 240 games. We used 3 baseball diamonds throughout the 2008 season. Our staff did an outstanding job keeping the grass cut. We hope you found the condition of the ballpark in good shape when we ended our season on August 10th, 2008. We look forward to 2009 and doing business with you again. Thank you for your help. Sincerely, David Bell, Secretary-Treasurer of the Seaway Slow Pitch Softball Association. It is. The second letter of correspondence to the board today is from the New York State Police, Richard C. Smith, Troop Commander of Troop B. Letter follows. I'd like to take this opportunity to express my appreciation to you and your agency for assistance rendered during the tragic death of Trooper Sean W. Snow. On August 3rd, 2008, Trooper Snow was assisting the motorist at the Ogdensburg Port of Entry when he and the motorist were fatally electrocuted. Members of your agency assisted with the overwhelming task of investigating the incident, maintained a diligent presence throughout the night, and made arrangements to secure the storage of the evidence. As you're well aware, Troop B is made up of many rural areas, and interagency cooperation is extremely beneficial to all law enforcement agencies. I'm pleased to know that the New York State Police enjoys a positive working relationship with the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority. Once again, thank you for all that you do for our agency, and especially for the assistance during this sad time for all of us here at Troop B and for Trooper Snow's family. Please share my thanks with all members of your agency. Signed, Richard C. Smith, Jr., Troop Commander, Troop B.
Is there anything? Okay, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes for June 11th, June 18th, June 14th, and July 1st.
All the minutes have been reviewed, and we recommend them for...
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Mary.
Yes.
Seconded by Don. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, so ordered. Comments and presentations to citizens regarding the agenda. Executive Director's report.
A couple things I'd like to highlight. Essential air service at the Ogdensburg International Airport. We call it essential air service is important, extremely important in North Country for economic development and regional recreational purposes, and we can't understate that fact. We're very pleased that Cape Air will be commencing operations on September 16th as the startup date. The service appears promising, and the schedule options so far are being well received by the public out there.
Do you have any idea how well they've been booked? Do we know?
Nothing official from Cape Air, but when you go and you look just as a member of the public and you try and book a flight out of here, you can only find 1 or 2 tickets. So on the 9 past aircraft, that's a relatively good sign right out of the gate. Other things to highlight, have discussions with the New York State DOT and the New York and Ogdensburg Railway throughout the month. We're exploring options and scope eligibility for port and rail projects through the Rebuild New York and Passenger Freight Rail Assistance Program. We've met with the city on a couple of different issues throughout the abbreviated period. On the bridge, we continue to discuss and facilitate the bridge rehabilitation project agreement with Peterson. And upcoming activities, just to highlight a couple, will be switching into high gear on the Rebuild and Renew New York Bond Act application, and we'll also be attending the Breakball Transportation Conference in New Orleans.
Steve, can you refresh my recollection, the biennial inspection, someone didn't bid on it last time. They were upset you didn't introduce it. I thought it was Majeski and Masters.
Well, we actually had a meeting with Majeski and Masters, and an interesting story there. Majeski and Masters had, in fact, responded, but the response had never gotten to us. It had gotten lost in one of their offices, and bottom line, they came up and they sat down with us and we talked about it.
Okay.
So they didn't prepare some proposal and never submitted.
They never submitted the proposal, and they were very concerned that somehow we were, angry or vindictive with them, and we assured them that's not the case.
And we thought it was the opposite. We thought they didn't bid it because they were upset we didn't. So then what did we do then to award the biennial inspection after the fact?
We did.
Mayor, really, it was already, this was after the fact. They came and did all this.
Got it.
Yeah, they were
In the future.
doing follow-up.
Okay.
And we didn't really get any response, so I gave you that impression.
Right.
And that wasn't true at all. What it really was, it just landed in somebody's
I was
office.
thinking it was awfully late in the water to
You're right.
to do our water inspection, but
It just came all after the fact.
got it.
So
Did we leave money on the table with this one then? We did.
Not a lot, but
Enough to buy a new dump truck? I don't want Bill paying for anything.
But you can get 4 tires.
So have they done the inspection?
yeah, it was completed last Friday. They took a week longer than Majeski had, but we saw a whole different, just a different company doing it, and it was good to see. It was refreshing because they did things much more detailed than we were used to with Majeski.
And Majeski wouldn't have to do that because they've had such a long track record with us. They wouldn't have to start from the beginning, which will make it better when we quote it next time because they're also, this new company is going to be able to have efficiency to the county, I would imagine.
And what I want to do is match up their final inspection report with Majeski's and just see, there might be some added things that we see that we didn't see with them. Maybe not. Maybe they'll both be the same, and that's just their learning curve of the bridge. But they were really, they spent a lot of time.
But that'll help sharpen the lead and pencil.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're exactly. Yeah.
But they were very concerned that burn some bridges with us, no pun intended, but we assured them that was not the case. The only other thing I would highlight is that we had a very successful Port Commerce Day. Here at Port recently, we had almost 60 people in attendance. 60?
Wow.
Also generate additional business.
How many different agencies would that 60 represent? Any idea?
Probably about 40.
Yeah, I'd say so. Wow. So that is...
We had very few occasions where we had more than one individual come from the same company.
Great. Some of them were state officials, which is good because they had an opportunity to see all the cargo and everything that's going on. So interact with them on a grant or something, they know what we're doing. I got some pictures for you to go through. You may know I just came back from an Alaskan cruise, and we left from a working port, Seattle. Yeah, I got some good pictures to show you how they do it in the port there. It's astounding, really. Right?
Is there any other questions or ways of reports? Being done, we'll move right into the Chief Financial Officer's report. Mark Nash.
Thanks, Fred. There's a couple of things I want to report. Maybe I was a little overly optimistic, saying I was going to get it done between the time this mail and today. The procurement policy, I'm still working on updating some numbers there for that. That'll be coming up hopefully in the October board meeting. But until then, we'll just go using the old procurement policy. That's just an update and a review. And the next item, the border station tax return, that's been received by our auditors. I still need to review it and get it out of here in the mail. That's just an information return. There's obviously no money due on that or anything. It's just a general recap of the border station activity for the year. So those still need to get out of here. And in the green folders today, you'll find the bridge traffic report. The month end for August came in this morning to my desk, so I kind of recapped that for August. You can see, once again, The auto crossings are up over last year, and the commercial traffic is down. Kind of the same standard thing I've been reporting on for about 12, 13 months now. So there's not a lot of change in what's been going on there. And the second and third pages of your packet there is the financials that you received with the agenda, with some explanations there of why things went up or down.
Now it's way over the weekend. I was talking to people at Old Castle, and they said they were down almost 20%. Some quite a bit.
At the castle? Were they?
The tourist thing, whatever. Cost of gas.
Lots of gas, it's been a rainy season a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. That's all I have. That's
Any questions?
Good month, good year to date. You have to your budget.
yes.
Have we done any more, Mark, you alluded to the fact that you had started it, but it was a more difficult and cumbersome project than you expected. But when you look at utility rates, you were going to kind of do an analysis of utility rates with spaces. Have you come any further on that?
No, I have not.
Okay.
No.
You haven't given up on that?
No, I haven't given
Okay.
up. Almost.
Okay.
But not yet.
You did feel that some of them were hard to corner because the layouts in the different buildings.
Yeah, the buildings, when they're first built with the 2 or 3 meters per building in the industrial park, now it's split up. The space has been split up here and there over the years. Some places share meters, and some I'm not too sure we even know where they go to anymore, maybe, without looking into it.
Ventilating too, that aren't all in the same space.
Yeah.
About half the utilities for anything. From here on out, we'll start bringing together one corporate. Everybody's
Not just timing. Last year's project to this year's budget.
Are we doing anything with, I know it's tilting windmills, no pun intended. Are we going to do anything with the cost of Granicus and some response to the executive office or the legislature about, I'm looking at Granicus as $6,400 of our general office expenses, which is what, about 10%? And I'm wondering if it's more than 10%. I'm wondering if it would behoove us. Remember we had talked before, but we're going to keep track of the number of hits on the website and how much it cost us, and kind of do some sort of a letter or missive to the, what office actually imposed it? It was the governor's office, but it was the governor's office of authority, public authority's office. And let them know how much it's costing us and what the hits are. I'm just wondering, at the end, once we have a full year under us, if that would be something we should help do.
Anecdotal, Annie. He should tell you that's using it. Except for...
But it'd be great to put a number to it. And I don't think I would be exaggerating when I say it chokes us pretty good.
It's expensive, no doubt about it.
And you're not getting service. I think the real problem is the closed caption.
Small code force and burn, so they don't have access to our journeys. What I do is last one, that's like what I've done is taking the agenda, so they just have an idea what we're talking about. Don't go on the edges, that's not been very, I'm sure it's very good.
The Tim and Larry thing isn't even half the problem,
Any other questions? Mark? We'll move on to the regular industrial development non-ratio.
So Fort Commerce Day went good. We had quite a few local industry represented, local farms, transportation firms, including CSX representatives and New York State governmental agencies. We met with a potential heavy lift cargo. As discussed at the last meeting, site visit, they were impressed with the facilities. If the cargo goes ahead for next year, to utilize both port and rail assets. At the point now we're discussing getting rates together. We were recently highlighted in Seaway Compass, the electronic newsletter, St. Louis Seaway Development Corporation. That's in your packet. Nice piece on us.
Well, but it's back in fact, they're real.
Do we need the FTZ for this potential client as well?
Yes.
And Now, will that cost us any more to keep that designation for every year or whatever?
No, we'd have someone do the brokerage if the users pass that cost on to them, but the amendment is all done, is all in place, additional expenses.
We didn't keep it in place before, so what do we do to make sure we keep it in place now?
It's active, we'll do annual reports.
Annual reports, okay.
And there's that, the reason we let it go forward was that, that bond. We let that bond lapse.
Cost?
I don't think so. That bond wasn't too expensive. Do you recall the dollar amount on that?
$400 or $500.
It wasn't much at all, but
So keep our eye on to make sure that we maintain that designation, because what did it cost us in attorney's fees this time to reactivate it? $20,000 or so?
Yeah. Money well spent on it. Yeah.
No, money well spent and keep it maintained so we don't have another.
Larry is saying we'd rather spend 500 than 30.
Understood.
And buy a dump truck.
Get on that
Still with it, proud.
Go ahead, John.
Just today we received the preliminary draft of the Port Master Plan and North Country Creek study, as it's called. That's internally for us to review and comment on, and then it would be going to the steering committee on September 18th at 10 o'clock. Continue to work on port leads, through mailings and outreach, additional wind turbine prospects we're working on, electric transformers, wiring aluminum ingots, wood pellets, coal, petroleum, overall exploring. As Wade mentioned, we're reviewing the Rebuild New York Bond Program, the Passenger Rail Freight Assistance Program. Applications are due September 30th. Working with a variety of prospects for the Shell Building, for other available space in Commerce Park, and for greenfield sites. Prospects include warehouse and manufacturing office. We have a client who will be visiting hopefully September or October. We do have two or three now that are interested in the Shell Building, so out there. Continuing to assist Danny with the open access telecom network application that would include fiber to Commerce Park, which should be funded next year. We got an estimate for the rental study, which was $2,200, and due to the cost, we'll set that aside to pursue it next year. Budget for it next year. Looking at a bulk mailing to promote the Shell Building in September. We'll do a site visit to the industrial plant at Port Prospect this month. And breakthrough conference in New Orleans in October.
Anyone have any questions?
I do. John, tell me about how you really work at pursuing leads and stuff. I mean, what's a natural course for us to do? How we do that?
A lot of it's outreach, reaching out to different project cargoes that are coming to the area, specifically windmills, where we get a hold of the manufacturer, distributor. Some of it's through mailings that we do, leads from different agencies, and it's a constant follow-up. A lot of times, like for industrial and for prospects, it's kind of a long process for that. It's just a follow-up, providing information, answering questions, providing an incentive package, work with other agencies to provide data for transportation costs. It's a long process.
So we're dealing with Europe, we're dealing with Canada, we're dealing...
Principally with Canada. But yeah, I mean, like the windmills is an example of cargo coming from Denmark. So, but most of our outreach and our mailings and marketing that we do is principally that's where we've had success.
Well, like in, say, Montreal, they have busy. Do they send anything our way, or is it a possibility it happens that way? Or?
If what?
I'm like, so Montreal's busy, other parts busy, then
No.
work that way?
No. We looked at that angle at one time. There's a variety of ports up there, Bacon, Core, and Three Rivers. So, no, they don't really share stuff found out. No.
We don't have that facility.
So we're speaking in French,
Just an container ship. Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's the other problem. We don't have that.
Deeper draft and Now, in some cases...
On-site cranes.
Exactly, yeah.
Acres and acres.
Yeah.
We're limited in what we do.
Yeah, as well as the size of vessels that are dumped through blocks, limited to seaway draft, seaway-sized vessels. Those that bring in Panamax vessels, bigger vessels, right up into Montreal, make that work.
Maybe not in this meeting here, but has there ever thought of becoming more competitive? I mean, what it would take to invest to make ourselves competitive?
Yeah, some of the recommendations that have come out from the Port Master Plan, there'll be some different suggestions in there, just in terms of efficiency of handling different cargoes and improvements that will address it. Yeah.
I mean, like Don was saying, you go to these other ports, you see the capabilities and the way they unload and all. I mean, that's major port stuff. I mean, like the Seattle or Houston or like that.
Yeah, we're a small port.
Right.
It's really a niche market we serve.
We're pretty familiar with what the other regional ports do, as well through on-site visits. So we have got a feel of what's going on. For example, they could go to support.
You wouldn't want to invest a whole lot of money and not realize you could never capture it back. Whatever, but obviously your port plan will discuss that. Thanks, John.
You're welcome.
Joe, would you have time, if we're not going to spend the $2,200, and I don't have a problem not spending that kind of money, do you have time, though, in the interim, over the next few months, to kind of call around and get rates for warehousing spaces and stuff? I mean, I don't mean like, a 6-month project, but it might behoove us to know what Messina Industrial is getting for their cold storage and that sort of thing, just to give us some sort of idea that we're not too far.
With that, about a year ago, I could get that.
I'm just wondering if it's something you want to keep up to date instead of actually spending $2,200 to do it. Just find some comps that that we would feel comfortable with.
As far as public agencies like the IDA and that, we're, I would say, considerably higher.
Okay.
Registered dogs, back alley, people rates to get their facilities up to see that. The benefit of having some outside do it is you get private data, which can't access data for doing those, working with those private individuals, so we can get that, those comparable with site status. Yeah, I mean, if I call a private firm, it's really, in a sense, a competitor, and they're their rates. But he has that data. Might be worth the investment at some point. Why do you think the $2,200 was spending out since it wasn't a budget item, or you thought it was higher than it should have been?
One quote, right?
Well, we only got one quote on it. $2,200 is not a deal breaker, really, one way or the other in terms of cost. It is a lot of money for something we can pick up the phone and do ourselves. We are going to miss some of the private sector data, but a lot of the public sector data, get access to that.
Now, who's your competition? Your competition. Oh, what's the private sector? It's both. Well, seems to me it'd be worth knowing what that the private side is also. Sure.
I think the consensus is that we want to spend the money on that.
Isn't this something we could get through the Ray Fountain's organization or somebody? Somebody must have already done this.
They've already shared their rates for what they charge in Messina, and
I'm talking about the private side.
I don't know. I mean, conversations they might have had, but nothing in terms of good data and examples. They wouldn't have that as much either.
Any more action on that at this time? Do you want to do with that?
I'd like to be more than one quotation. That kind of bothers me.
Let's just put it on the agenda for the facilities committee next. Just do that, sit down, brainstorm about what the objective of this is really looking for. I mean, I know Mary wants to make sure that our rental rates are in line, but maybe we can wrap this into the utility project.
And that was the point, I think, eventually we're actually
projects. Let's just talk about next. We did solicit 4 firms. So.
I know you only got one back. To me, that's a bit.
Yeah. See if we get any more information, like Jim says.
Okay. I'll just get all your data together and bring it to the next meeting to spend. Okay. Did you see the last one that was done? Okay. I'll recall it. Take it back out. Spend half an hour, 45 minutes on it. Yep.
The other here is good. The transportation conference is going to be held in New Orleans. You went to that last year.
Yes.
It's going to be held again
October 16th.
16th.
Yeah, that's there are a lot of changes there that you think it's...
Is that worth the money to go?
Every time you go there, I mean, every year?
Well, we did get a couple leads out of it last year. Made it work. You know, if I don't have anything, as with anything in economic development and marketing, it's hard to point to it and say, aha, you know, we got it on that specific conference, that specific project.
Because there's a presence of those things that people get to know you after a while. You know, every few years, and you're easily forgotten. So those are good programs to reestablish contacts at.
I think different ones are... You go to the same one all the time, it's kind of the same.
Well, my question too is, what's the extent can be done to one person instead of 2?
You know?
You know?
I don't have a problem with the amount of people that go. I mean, I don't have a problem with 2 people going or whoever is needed to go there to make our business better here, but I don't want to zero in just on New Orleans. I mean, if there's one in Washington and if there's one somewhere else, I think our people should...
This was the big one that Dan Lockley thought.
It's
I can see why he's working out there. But anyways, we'll move right along on that.
This is the only big conference that there is, not any that are close. And I was actually going to suggest that Seaway Development Corporation, they should spot one up here for the Great Lakes, St. Lawrence Seaway region, for both Great Lakes, St. Lawrence Seaway.
And the closest one is Europe.
Yeah, the same organization spot one Europe.
That was my question.
Yeah.
So this is the one that does the loop in the United States.
Yes.
So there isn't one in Miami. There is not one in Seattle. There is not one out in San Francisco.
Right.
There should be. It's your biggest port. Today is the West Coast. That's where all the action is. That's where everything is, you know.
Albany was there, had a presence there. They didn't have a booth there last year, but I mean, they were down there finding the prospects as well. Some of our competitors that operate several different ports along the seaway are there as well. And that's very impressive compared to ours, but that's...
Now you've scoped them out, you can make our booth better.
Well, remember one thing. From the 13th to the 17th, you're on our ticket. After that, hang on.
What does that mean, Fred?
That's the day of travel before the day coming back. They get up there, there's a hurricane, they're on their own. Get out of us and get out of town.
How much money do you bring your own solution to us? Do you know? How much did we spend last year for?
I don't know offhand. Was the last one about 5? 6,000?
Yeah.
I think.
5 to 6,000?
Yeah.
For the Great Bulk, or
the one we went to a couple months ago. Where did we go a couple months ago?
That's the Texas one, wasn't it?
Texas one.
That's expensive anyway.
Yeah.
What was it?
We American Energy.
I remember Texas.
And there's some crossover between these things too. For example, well, last year we were having some conversations with wind turbines at the Break Bulk conference. Because again, some of these same individuals are represented in different spots.
And our focus is on the port. We're not spending money on attending trade shows. Counties, are spending money on. We're not duplicating what they're doing. I mean, they're in Montreal, they're going to Boston for industrial prospects. So we rely on them to partner with them. That keeps our costs down in that area.
Well, this one in particular, we ended up, last year we took 80 pounds of brochures, not only our own, but also the city of Ogdensburg. We had some county literature there.
Yep.
Not a piece was left at the end of the trip.
There were probably guys enjoy competition with us into it all. Is there any other questions of John? Okay, we'll move over in the trucks of operations. Steve Lawrence.
Just to update you on the bridge rehab project. Green Citizens come out with the preliminary drawings. I have a copy that I can, if you want to look them over.
Not real exciting, are they?
No, they're quite complicated. In fact, the DOT has already come back with their responses. They're more of a technical nature that kind of goes a little bit beyond me, but they're going back and forth, so that's moving on quite well. Wade mentioned the biennial inspection was done. We also did a list, kind of a preliminary list of things that we need to do, kind of our to-do list. So since we've got some time, you know, we incorporate that into our work with the maintenance crew. So by the time that final report comes out, some of them, you know, looks like a long list, but in fact, we were able to knock out quite a bit of that. And we do stuff too as we're going along in this 2 weeks. So that's one of the benefits of just being right there with the inspectors as we go. For the airport, we had a pre-bid meeting for the hangar construction project today. I think 3 or 4 contractors showed up. The bids are due September 11th. The Beacon relocation project, we're just waiting for National Grid to energize the transformer and get that up front. The transformer's been installed. Just waiting for them to energize that. And hopefully that'll be taken care of in the next couple weeks. On the port, I'm kind of like Mark. I overestimated my, based on when this come out, but there's one part in there that says 14 barges would have sailed. Actually, that's 13. And the other one goes better way. I said there are 14,000 tons of salt on hand. Actually, it was all offloaded or all loaded out of the port on Thursday, so there is no salt in the port right now, and we're working with American Rock Salt and Morton to get some in. American Rock Salt should be sending some in within the next 2 to 3 weeks. As far as the vessels go, voyage 8 and 9 were offloaded the 3rd week of August. The flotation arrived today. That's vessel number 10. And we expect the last one somewhere around the 15th or 16th of September. And in between that time, we're sending barges to Wolf Island. That's going very well. I think that covers pretty much what I've got. Any questions?
So their estimates for barging were right on the money?
What's
Their
that?
estimates for barging were on the mark?
Yeah, well, no, it'll come out all right, but right now it's tight. The schedule's tight as far as that goes, but it's going fine there. Schedule-wise.
It's not tight because of us, though.
No. Mostly it was to do with the permitting, and it was like a 3-week delay in the permitting at Wolf Island, and then also, you know, we got a rainy summer there, putting the laydown yard down in Wolf Island, I guess, was all right. I just heard stories about it, but it was quite difficult, so I think they lost somewhere between 3 to 4 weeks down there, and that's why the buildup of the amount of components we've got at the port. So right now, this is about the most you're ever going to see. From now on, we've got a 2-week go before the next one. That'll probably be about 10 barges will be going, so that'll make some more space for us.
Steve, could you also comment, please, on our unload times?
Oh,
That's a key point.
just as a kind of give you a little background, when we first started Canadian projects, kind of estimated somewhere about 3 days to unload, and the first vessel was just a little bit over that. They were happy with that. They realized it was a learning curve, and you know, they weren't pushing anybody in that sense, so everybody had to get used to it. Well, we came under the 3-day with the next vessel, and then gradually it stayed at 3 days, but it wasn't so much our people, it was just a combination of things. We weren't able to, the ship wasn't able to come in on the right side because of the weather and things like that, and just different things, and we were probably through 5 or 6 vessels. It stayed that way, and then
We kind of got a system as far as moving that when the vessels landed, they arrived on the right side, the correct side, and we've gotten that down from almost to 2 days right now. Our last vessel, we warmed up probably an hour or two over. We could have gotten that off there. So as far as our crew and everything just hitting right, the last 2 vessels have been just around 2 days, maybe 2 1/4 there with the cleanup next day. But I think we've hit our stride as far as that goes. And we even look at that and we go, well, if we could have done this or that, we feel we'd be under that. But that would be ideal, I guess. So we're quite happy with the learning curve and, the way things are going down and forth with that. So I'm well pleased with that.
So tell us the savings of the backing in the ship or driving it in, time-wise.
Time-wise, what it is if you know the configuration of the cranes, they're all on, they'd be on the
left side.
Starboard side. So what they're doing, when they're up close to the dock, they're working in between us, like you saw the first time. When they're working in between, it just slows them down. We've had the same crane operators. Everybody's brought in the same crane operators each time, and that's another thing. I need to give them credit. Those guys have just learned the system, and they know our guys, they know how to work with it, and they know what to expect. So, but now when they come in and they can just offload and just place everything, they can, the only thing they've got is when the blades are in the way, they just can't see to drop them on it. But once the blades are out of the way, they almost virtually can see everything. Just load that out. So the only reason they're turning is just because the nacelles are just out of that crane radius for their reach, and they're just pushing it a little bit too much to go to that side. But that definitely has helped, the way the configuration of the ships.
What's the cost of shipping company? What's the cost for you to have a ship stay there one extra day?
You mean our charges?
No, just in general.
We don't know,
What are they saving?
but we're told those ships cost on average between $40,000 and $60,000 a day.
So if you would turn around one day sooner, there's...
Yeah. But they to hear them talk, whether to get them out earlier, if you hold them, it's, oh my God, and then, but if you let them out sooner, there's no thank you money for them.
Well, how they are already booked, though, and they've already that day off, they can't take that boat anyway.
But what we found in the last 2 vessels, and even what I've heard with this one, is they'll stick around in it. It's good for us, it's income for us. They'll stick around for another day just to prepare. They've all been going to get grain up in the Great Lakes, so they'll stick around for a day and just work all day long to reconfigure the vessel.
We don't charge them for that, right?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, it's 1 day of dockage, and we have to charge for security. So that for that day they stay, the security's put over onto the agent and the vessel rather than the windmill project. So,
but they'd rather stay tied up than go up an anchor.
Exactly. Yep.
So the grain backhaul, is that a new commodity for them as well?
I don't think it's new. I think they've got their connection because they've gone up into Duluth. This next vessel is going to Windsor, Ontario, and then they go up, and then a week later we'll see them going back down through.
There's probably a charge down if they go into the system and anchor, because now they got to be kept on the computer system where they are at all times when they're going to go out into the system and everything else. So there's probably a charge.
Well, it's new formation when it's there an anchor per day, right? Where they're still right.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone saw, but just kind of a side note. National Geographic had an article about, it was just a little blue about the Luger was using sails. Yeah. To come across, and they had a load of wind turbines on the ship. There was a picture that was in National Geographic. Yeah. Saved by putting the sail off the front of the ship. 20% of fuel saved. But it was, I don't know when the picture was taken, but it was in
May. I think it was in May of last year. Maybe it was
the year old. That's kind of the figure.
Yeah, I was trying to see, but there were some reels. It wasn't ours, but I thought,
it was the Beluga Freedom flagship. I thought,
which is free.
Steve, I appreciate the cutting of the brush out there on Route 68, where the airport is. It's really good because of the animals and everything. It gives you a view.
Yeah.
At least. And looks, it's grown up fast, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, without the rain, usually that whole area kind of is a little drier in Ogdensburg. Get in there, but we can't get into that cattail area as you're going out of town on.
Yeah. But the hill looks good.
Yeah.
You got the people can see there's there or anything.
Have you guys noticed though the county and the state is to do mowings twice a summer, they're down to one? People like me drive those roads, you notice, it's because you don't have any visibility or anything. They used to do early cut and a late cut, they're only doing one now.
Okay.
The gas has something to do with it.
Daily cut.
Yeah.
Small children down there most of the time there, huh?
That was the committee reports. Committee reports. Does any of our people have committee reports? Don, you want to start?
Well, other than the personnel committee meeting, we had, personnel hasn't met since then, mostly because I went to Alaska, Sam and I.
Is Moose meet?
Didn't see any Moose meet.
Did Sam go to Alaska with you?
No.
Was I supposed to go?
Nobody told me. Okay. Facility.
The facilities committee met today, 3, pretty short agenda. We talked about the conveyor upgrades at port to support the Greenfield project, which is the ethanol facility across the river. Good. Our board packet tonight. Action. Go ahead with that upgrade. There's also the change order for Burns Brothers for the 14th industrial building. Again, that's just a decrease. Following that is crossing the T's. That'll be in our board packet. And the third is we just discussed the development for the North Country grant for $15,000 for automation of unloading and unloading at the port. So that's moving forward.
Okay.
Any comments on the third?
Does anyone else have any? All right, we'll move to unfinished business. In there?
No, there's not.
Recent events. Upcoming meeting for December has been changed to the 9th of December. October 7th is okay. November 4th so far is okay. Business items.
Business items,
Building of a clothing house.
under General Administration A1, summer employee payment of 6% clothing allowance. This is the program that in the past where the authority extends a 6% bonus to all temporary summer employees. It recognizes an excellent job done by the summer staff and also helps reimburse students for wear and tear on clothing throughout the season. Bonus wages for the 2008 summer period will be approximately $2,500. We do have budget funds available for that, and staff recommends appropriate for temporary workers.
We've historically done this, right?
Yes, we have.
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second? Second by Sam. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
But can I point something out? I'm sure it doesn't matter, but November 4th is election day.
November 4th is you.
Right. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we still- It's open all day.
Yep.
We're going to be, that's going to be our next historical day, you know.
Yes, it will be.
No matter which way it goes,
That's
but
right.
I might run yet as an independent. I got time. Yeah, you're right. I think last year we had it on the election day, didn't we? We did. Yeah.
No, we didn't. That was the judge's kitchen table. No, we didn't.
Oh. Okay. Ogdensburg International Airport approval transport storage agreement.
This agreement with Mr. Kurt Thomas. This is transfer and storage agreement. As his agreement expires September 30th, 2008. It's a transfer storage agreement for hangar rental, $180 per month for the period October 1st, 2008 through September 30th, 2009. Within an agreement, the standard hold harmless clause, as well as the requirement of proof of appropriate insurance, naming BPA as additional insurer.
Make that motion. Have a second. Don? All in favor?
Aye. Item B2 is approval of the lease agreement with Leslie Parish. This deals with the rental of property at the rate of $325 per year for a one-year period, October 1, 2008 through September 30th, 2009.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mary, do we have a second? Jimmy? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, so ordered.
Item C1 for the Commerce Park. This is a lease supplement with Classic Space Maintainers for 1,660 square feet, effective October 1, 2008 through September 30th, 2009 at $7.50 per square foot. Also included in the agreement is proof of appropriate insurance, naming OBPA as additional insurance.
Why don't we have any utilities language in this?
It's there, and a clause that requires Classic Space Maintainers to pay for all utilities. Sorry about that.
I don't see it, I'm sorry.
Right above the line that says staff recommends approval of the supplemental agreement.
Yeah, but there's nothing in the resolution that says that. The resolution should say, right? It should say that.
I should still amend it. Tack it on to that fourth paragraph of the resolution.
With that amendment, I'll make the motion.
We have a second. Don? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, so ordered.
Item C2 is approval of lease supplement with Veritas Tools. This is 4,860 square feet on the third industrial building in Commerce Park. The lease on this expires September 30th, 2008. The rate would be $565 per square foot, period October 1 through September 30th, 2009. You can also see the increased language there as well. Included in the lease agreement is proof of appropriate insurance, with a clause that requires Veritas to pay all utilities. And again, it looks like we have the same utility issue here that needs to be amended. And put it down there, and I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Jimmy. We have a second. Mary? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, so ordered.
And C3 is approval of the lease agreement with Cobra Drive Systems. This is for the 6th industrial building that expires September 30th, 2008. It's a 1 year. Cobra Drive Systems, 3,332 square feet of space. The 6th industrial building, a rate of $7.19 per square foot, which includes utilities.
I'll make the motion with the amendment, the utilities be added to the resolution on this as well.
This is already included.
This is a supplement, so you're referring to the same thing, not the one that's there on the
Agenda item C3, Code Drive.
719, what's that say?
It says 719.
And this one also doesn't say all utilities, but the resolution should say with all utilities, right?
Yes, it should.
Okay, so with that amendment, I'll make the
What do you
motion.
have for a rate now?
719.
Okay, so here's your change.
We have a second.
We have responsibility.
All in favor,
We just
signify by
added that
saying
amendment.
aye. Aye. Opposed, so ordered.
Item C4 is approved change order with change order number 1 with Burns Brothers Contractors. This is done on behalf of Burns Brothers Contractors on Building 14. Has submitted a change order number 1 calling for a decrease of $38.35 in the contract amount. It's for the unused portion of the allowance for charges by St. Lawrence Gas for new service to the facility.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mary. Seconded by Sam. Any questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
Item D1 is also going to need the amendment to the resolution section stating Allen Vanguard will also pay for utilities under this agreement. This is for the company called Allen Vanguard. You formally need to use them as MedEdge for 833 square feet of space in the 6th industrial building at a rate of $6.60 per square foot. Term is October 1 through September 30th, 2009.
I'll make the motion, just put the utilities in the
There's no in there, is it?
No, it's not the
It's in the report, but it's not in the resolution.
and I'll second it with that amendment.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Item D2 is approval of the upgrade of the port conveyor. You recall, as part of the port handling and storage agreement with Greenfield Ethanol, the authority agreed to upgrade its current conveyor capabilities. We contacted 3 vendors to perform the conveyor upgrades. Responses were limited somewhat due to the age and specialty of the equipment involved. We did receive 2 written quotations. As a result of our effort, a third vendor responded, but without providing a quote. Upgrading the capability of the conveyor is considered to be specialized knowledge. Not just anybody can do it, not just any firm. Furthermore, there's a lack of competition within the geographical proximity to perform these type of services. Based on the quotes received, it's expected that the total cost of the acceptable conveyor upgrades will not exceed $28,000. Recall that 1/2 of this cost will be the responsibility of the authority, and 1/2 will be responsibility of the customer per the established agreement. We then discussed this with the facilities committee earlier today, who concurred with the staff's recommendation to purchase the conveyor upgrades at a cost not to exceed $28,000.
I'll make that motion. Roger, do we have a second?
second.
Jimmy? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
There's one thing to add there, Jim. You asked a question about the budget. We budgeted $50,000 for this, 25 from us and 25 from the customer. So that's below the budget. The last item for business this evening is item D3, approval of a grant from the Development Authority of the North Country. The authority received a grant offer in the amount of $15,000 from the Development Authority of the North Country to assist the authority with engineering and feasibility study to expand capacity to unload and offload cargo at the port using automated machines. The Facilities Committee met earlier today and recommended acceptance of the $15,000 grant.
No motion? So moved. Have a second? Sam? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any other matters?
Do we look for a specialized engineering company to do that, or any engineering company?
It's going to be a specialized one. Steve, can you speak to that a little bit better on what we're conveying?
Unload and offload system for the development grant, the $15,000.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were referring to the conveyor.
No, the engineering study. Is that going to be something that we're going to have to look for a special engineering firm to do, or?
We're going to have to come up with, there are 3 criteria that we have to look at. Specifically, we need to outline a project to be undertaken, including a timeline and cost estimates, have a signed copy of a disclosure and accountability certification, and also have a fund disbursement form executed between the 2 agencies.
I think to really answer your question, most likely, I gotta see it's gonna be the manufacturer.
Yeah, they'll be their in-house. You'll just go with, I think you'll tell them what you're looking to move, but there's probably no industrial type of probably companies in there.
They'll catch me.
They'll come to you with,
I don't know what the sound of the public building.
yeah,
Yep. They do all the preliminaries? Good.
of course.
Running away with me. I mean, you got ATC, and you got Clarkson. Is there any way you can use these folks for some of these studies? Or are they too slow, or what are they?
That's a good question. We haven't historically looked at that. That doesn't mean we can't place a call and ask.
We've used them in the past for particular studies. Don't you remember the airport study and things like that? The county was on the board. Remember? We need somebody to do it, but you need somebody who does that sort of, will undertake that task. Remember when we did the regional airport studies program? Did that with Mr. Clarkson, or didn't talk to him?
Okay. Such other matters before the board. We do have a need for executive session. Prior to going into that, we'll complete this meeting before I ask for a motion for executive session. And then we have comments from the citizens or board members or staff board people. Anybody? The press? Steve? You have anything, Brian? No. It'd be over. If everything comes out of that meeting, then you people should know you'll be notified. We're not going to take any action out of the executive session.
I suppose for the record, we should probably state that it would be potential litigation regarding the New York and Ogdensburg Railroad. Be the full reason for executive session.
I would entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Sam and Roger. Okay? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.